Hi everyone, welcome back to another Photoshop tutorial. Hey, in this assignment we're going to kind of continue on the theme of an abstract background design. Although this time what we're going to do is we're just going to use brushes that you could find on the internet for free to kind of make life easy for us. It takes all the hard work. Using the pen tool to create your design is a lot of work, and sometimes it's necessary to have that knowledge to be able to do that. But a lot of times we have these brushes that are kind of, I don't know, I almost feel like cheating, but they're out there and they're available and they're really easy to use and kind of fun to play with. So let's start with our instructions here. So on our instructions, we're going to start off with a new file. I would like you to call this brush practice. We're going to make this 800 pixels wide by 600 pixels high, 72 pixels per inch. I'm going to come to Photoshop here, and our shortcut for a new document is Control N. And let's see where we're set off on our file size. Here we are. It's set 800 pixels wide, 600 wide, resolution 72. And we are going to work in RGB color again for vibrant monitor colors, and the background is going to be white. Let's go and create this document. And as you know, my preference for this workflow is to come up to the tab and let's pull it down to be able to resize and move our file away from our toolbars. All right, let's start with a solid color background. Layers toolbar, 50/50 down at the bottom. Let's go to solid color. And if you haven't done so already, try gradient and pattern one time if you have a moment or your head. Let's go and click on solid color. Top right corner for the most vibrant colors, up and down the slider to choose a background color. Choose a color that's easy on your eyes that you like to work with. I'm going to go ahead and just go and start with black again. I'm going to click down in the bottom left corner, go and click OK. And as I've always said, use lots of layers. Use different layers for different colors, and that allows us to adjust the opacity of different layers. And if you don't like something, you just turn it off with the eyeball. So let's go back to Photoshop, and I'm going to start off with a new layer already. You actually can't start this assignment until you start a new layer. So we have a new layer. But let's go and load these brushes that I'm talking about. Now these brushes are in the classroom for you already. You'll need to download all of them first to your documents. You'll see this on the assignment. Download the brushes first. And the way we're going to find them is we're going to go to our brushes toolbar. And I'm going to come over here to the options, or sometimes I like to call the pancakes here. And we're going to go where it's to import brushes. Another way to find this is up here on the top left. For your brush, we could come to the gear or the settings and also go to import brushes. Since I have this brush toolbar open, let's just come back and do it this way. Pancakes, import brushes, and you're going to need to navigate to your downloads first. Like I said, first you're going to need to download all these brush files from the classroom. Now, mine are neatly organized into a folder called brushes, which you may want to do. You can right click and go to new folder, or just click on new folder and call it brushes and drag all the brushes you download into that one spot. Make them easy to find. Let's go and open this brush folder, and yours are going to be here in brushes for students. And these are all different brushes that I have for us to kind of experiment with. Um, there's bird brushes, ink splatter, abstract, cosmic, dimension brushes. The brushes you can find online there's thousands and thousands, and it's pretty neat to see. If you want to find a brushes to paint, if you want trees, dogs, birds, grass, any type of texture, you have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of free brushes that you can find online and download for free if you just Googled free Photoshop brushes. But for the sake of this assignment, let's just stick to these ones here. So I'm going to go ahead and load um, let's do bending light, but I kind of want to watch. I have my brush settings toolbar open right here. You notice I only have a few rows of these. You notice this scroll bar is actually going to decrease in size because the list is going to get longer. So let's go and click on bending light, or double click, or click once and click load. Double click does the same thing. And it loaded these bending light brushes down here. There's probably about, it looks like a dozen, 15 brushes over here. And I'm going to just select one of them here, the bending light brushes, which also added on my brushes toolbar. You'll see down here also I could expand this one, click on the drop arrow, and we can see the size of those brushes. These are more if you do a continuous brush. I'm going to do more of just a click style. Let's take brush 2000. Ooh, that's a really big brush. Let's go ahead and, as before, left bracket, left bracket, left bracket. I need to turn those email notifications off. Sorry about that. And let's go ahead and right now while I'm on blue, I'm just going to go ahead and select white, and let's see what just a nice white brush is going to look like. And why is that not brushing? Click here. All right, sorry for the pause there for a moment. My brushes were not working. On my brush settings toolbar, I realized I had some of these extra options checked on this dual brush. Make sure these are turned off at the moment on your brush settings. That could cause some trouble for you. So I still have these bending light brush number 2000 here, and I'm just going to go and I'm on my first layer here. I'm going to go ahead and click. Let's make it a little bigger and just do a nice subtle little click there. Hey, and that's all done in just one click of a brush. I'm going to go ahead and take this layer. I'm going to call this white 1. And now that it's on its own layer, I've got complete control of it. I could lower the opacity of it. I can make it lighter if you want, or increase it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of do a little shadow to it. So let's go ahead and add a new layer. Again, lots of layers. And I'm going to do the kind of the same brush, but a little bit offset to the side. I'm going to try to make like a little bit of a shadow. Now that this is on the second layer, I can now decrease the opacity separately from that first layer. All right, and this one I'll call this white 2. And since it's on its own layer, I can actually come and take this brush and move it independently of the first layer also. So let's go ahead and load another set of brushes here again. So let's go back to our brushes. I'm going to go to my brushes toolbar. I'm going to go to the options, option pancakes. I'm going to go to import brushes. And let's go down here to Radiant brushes. Let's go ahead and check this one. Let's see what this is about. And Radiant, go ahead and load these. It's going to add them at the bottom of our brushes right here. And you can see these are all new different brushes. So we're going to click around. Hey, this assignment's going to be a lot of experimenting. Click something, Control Z. Let's go ahead and undo it. Let's go ahead and right bracket this. I'm going to change, come up with a theme on what colors you want to work with. How about a blue and orange? Let's go ahead and try that this time. So I'm going to try a blue brush. Now on your brush settings toolbar, you can actually change the rotation of this. If you want to see more of the shape, let's go ahead and increase the spacing. And I'm going to click on this little arrowhead and we can rotate it around. So that's the side of this brush. Let's go ahead and click a nice blue. That's kind of a dark blue. Don't necessarily like that. Let's go ahead and go Control Z. Let me try to find something a little, how about, let's try with a light blue. And let's go ahead, oops, sorry, I'm on different layers. Let's go ahead and add a new layer. I'm going to add this up to the top here and click that nice bright blue on top of this one. How about we take this brush and I'm going to rotate it kind of 180 degrees around itself, and we'll do a second brush. How about a little bit down? But I'm going to do this again on a separate layer up over here because I want to decrease the intensity of this brush over here. Let's do a nice softer one. But I'm going to take the opacity of this layer down to kind of create a different effect. All right, so you get the idea. The whole purpose of the assignment is to kind of learn how to load brushes, find your different brushes, click around them, Control Z, undo it. The moment something happens you don't like, go ahead and undo it. Or if you really don't like it, just go ahead and turn that layer off. Turn that layer off independently. Make sure I'm going to be looking for labeled layers. Let's call this teal 1. Let's call this teal 2. Also, what I want you to experiment is, we've talked about layer blending mode. Let's go to this first teal one. And on our layers toolbar, click where it says normal. I'm going to click on the word normal one more time. And then just hit the down arrow. Let's see how it blends in with its background layers. I'm hitting the down arrow on my keyboard. And as you can see, it kind of has a different type of overlay depending on what's in front of it and also what's behind it. If you want to, all right, I'm just going to go back to up to our normal one. Again, you guys are going to be coming to your brushes toolbar, go to the settings, go to load import brushes, And let's try dimension brushes this time. I'm going to double click on dimension brushes, and these are over here on our brush settings toolbar. Let's scroll down to the bottom, and let's click on number 80, and let's see what this is going to look like. All right, so it's kind of like a splatter, but let's go ahead and go to let's try, how about maybe a green. I'm going to click on a green here, and let's just see what a single click looks like. Pretty interesting, and you could slide that down. Now remember, also if that's too much, oh, I made a mistake again. Let's go ahead and go Control Z. I did this on my teal layer. I'm going to go ahead and add a new layer, and let's call this green 1. And now I'm going to basically stamp this. And if you don't like where it is, I don't like the fact that it's behind all of this teal and white stuff. I'm going to take this green layer and let's drag it all the way down to the bottom, but just above my black background. All right, and let's go ahead and lower the opacity a little bit to kind of make that a little bit of a softer background. All right, so the whole goal is to use different brushes. We're not using the pen tool on this one. This is just completely using all of the brushes that I have set in the classroom for you. There's all kinds of different ones. Birds are fun to play with. Ink splatter, abstract lights. You're going to play with those and come up with a creative, unique, abstract background with free Photoshop brushes. I'm going to kind of quickly scroll through some options. These are just some color schemes and themes you could come up with. Like I said, come up with your own unique art. These are just a few ideas to kind of look at to come up with something creative, come up with some type of design that you would like to see. These are all previous student pieces of art. All right, let me show you one last thing before we leave. If you want to keep your layers toolbar cleaned up, because by the end of this, your layers toolbar might get a lot of layers. Let's go ahead and learn how to group these. On your layers toolbar, I'm going to click teal 1 and teal 2 by holding shift. Oops, excuse me. And let's do that. Sorry, one more time. I'm going to click on teal 2. I'm going to hold shift and click teal 1 so they're both selected at the same time. Then come back down here to this little folder option. And this is a new folder here. And it's going to automatically add it to this new group that you can open and close. This group is teal 1 and teal 2. You could double click where it says group 1 and let's name this teal. That way both your teal layers are kind of in one area. So actually I could turn them both on and off with this eyeball, or you could turn them off separately, teal 1 and teal 2. You don't have to hold shift. You could actually, let's just go ahead and come over here to white. I'm going to click on the folder option, new group. Here's a group, there's nothing in it. It is not in a group until you see that it's indented a little bit. So group 1, I'm going to take this layer, this white 2, drag it right on top of the word group 1, and white 1, I'm going to drag it right on top of this, and you can see that they're both now indented, and I can close this group by hitting the drop arrow, close this group, but this one is going to be called white. These are my 2 white layers here. Let's drop this down. Let's turn those off, and that's both of them grouped together, or turn them off separately. White 2, white 1. So I will be looking for the cleanliness of your layers toolbar and the use of different layers, different opacities, layer blending modes, and creativity of your art in general. Thanks for watching. Good luck. Have fun.